Well, welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Yep.
Oh, we've had a great week, haven't we, Steve?
Brian, I have words to say to you, and I need you to sit back and listen.
I'm listening. Folks, I'm listening.
Last week,
Yes?
you were invited into a very exclusive club that not many people get invited into. Through the goodness of Tom and my heart, you were invited into the winner's circle.
So he's asking for compensation.
No. Hear me out. Now I'm expecting, and I was expecting, you overstayed your welcome.
Yes. Yeah.
You've far exceeded the welcome, so I'm afraid
Yes.
you're going to have to leave the club now.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Did you win on the weekend?
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I won. Did you?
Steve?
I'm supposed to win the club. I'm in the club because I'm expected to win all the time.
Oh, is that right?
And that's why you're in there as well. You notice I haven't tried to kick you out.
Yeah.
Just someone who overstays their welcome, thank you very much.
We'll see.
What a
But
great
we'll
way to
come
start
to
the show.
Yeah, I don't know. Come the end of week 5, I'll have my top 8 predictions ready.
Okay.
Come the end of week 5.
Yeah.
Why week 5?
Oh, well, I figure it takes 4 or 5 weeks before you can really tell where a football team's at
4 or 5 weeks. Okay.
into the comp. Yeah, I think that's enough to get.
It's hard
That's enough to get
gauge.
That's enough to get the combinations going, and
Yeah.
you get your silly little injuries or big hamstrings out of the way.
Oh dear, we'll come to that game.
We will.
Okay.
Spectacular game as it was.
It was indeed game of the round.
Okay, let's start. We're talking NRL and we're talking round 4. Sydney Cricket Ground, Sydney Roosters and the Broncos, 36-4. Before Tom has his say, what do you think of the game?
I number of thoughts. I thought the Broncos were entirely underwhelming.
Yep.
That's taking nothing away from the Roosters. If you can score 7 tries in a game, you're going to win a lot of football games. But the Broncos were entirely underwhelming. They are
All over the park.
there is something wrong there. We've said it now since probably the middle of last year. Something's wrong with their direction and their halves. And I don't know how that stayed afloat last year, because this year I think they're really it's where they're at.
Yep.
They've got no direction. When things are going wrong, they've got nowhere to turn. Their halves don't direct them. And Darius Boyd, who sometimes comes in and plays a bit like a 5'8", he's out of form. He can't seem to do things right. He threw balls over the sideline on the weekend.
And was lazy, and it was one particular tackle they've shown over and over again.
I think a little bit has to come down to their. I mean, it has to come down to their forward pack. They're missing Maguire. I think it's that old adage where at clubs you need those workers in the pack, and obviously their worker was Maguire, and now he's gone. Who steps up?
And
because no one has stepped up.
An old head like Thaiday. He wasn't playing great, but that experience. Like they've lost 304 games or something in experience. Something.
Yeah,
They've lost a lot.
Astronomical. Yeah, so
it would be more than 300 because Thaiday had 300 games, didn't he?
I really thought I expected more from the Broncos. I actually nearly picked them this week, and I went, no, you know what? Travelling down to Sydney, I'm not going to, and I'm mighty glad I didn't.
But you have to admit the Roosters were on from the very moment, weren't they? I mean,
Right, are we going to give him a say now, or?
You have to admit the Roosters were on with them.
Well, you talked for 10 minutes about how bad the Broncos were. The Roosters were on from the very moment. I mean, that first half was scintillating, really. I mean, Cronk and Keary combined really well, and they came with a plan, and they were executing that plan to perfection.
I have to say that was probably the best game I've seen the Roosters play all year.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think they've been playing well.
No.
They've been winning, but not playing
well. They've been getting better gradually, but they've been dropping the ball and things, and that was almost a flawless first half of football. Yeah.
So I thought Keary was good again. I thought he was magnificent when the Roosters played Manly. He was absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't keep that form all the time. but everyone seemed to step up.
Yeah.
In the Roosters team at that time.
They all seemed to know what they were about. Everything seemed to start to click in that first half. Now, the Broncos came back and were busy for the first 15 minutes of that second half, and obviously got a rev up from the coach. And we went into a little bit of a holding pattern for a little while, but they've shown now 2 weeks in a row that they haven't let the game slip from them, and scored tries in the back end of the game, and that's really encouraging for anybody's team. You know. I thought, Tedesco, another solo try that was just absolute class.
Look, I kept waiting for the Broncos to come back, and they just couldn't.
Yeah.
So what do we think of the tackle on Cronk? Tackle?
Late shot.
Look, I actually question whether it was a late shot. I know everyone's looked at it, but don't look at me like that. If you look at it at full speed, it's actually not that late.
He had the choice to take evasive action.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying he had a choice of maybe a second. It wasn't like
he could have taken evasive action.
I disagree.
I thought he should have been sin binned, honestly.
Oh, look, I think.
Yeah.
Look, I think he should have been as well.
But in saying that's I don't know whether that's in the rules to sin bin them.
No, they were saying today.
Oh, Napa got sin binned a couple of times for the same thing.
I know that. Look, you may say that it wasn't, but when you plead guilty to a 2-week plea.
Yeah, but hang on, you know why he pleaded guilty.
Yeah, so he didn't get 3.
That's right. So, and that's the problem with that system, that I have to put my hands up, or else I'm going to get an extra week whether I actually believe I'm guilty or not. So, But no, look at it don't look at it slow. You've got to look at it at full speed. He was coming fast.
Yeah. I think he could have pulled out.
I don't know. It would have been difficult.
And look, as fluky as it was, that last try, every team wants to have a try like that, where everything seems to just happen.
But that was that, and
it was extremely fluky, but it was great to watch.
All right, let's move on to Mount Smart Stadium, where the Warriors beat the Gold Coast Titans 26-10. Gentlemen, do we see the Titans winning a game anytime soon? Because against South, they really seemed to step up in the second half in particular. And you would have thought they could have carried that form.
Well, they got both their halves back.
They've got both their halves
I read a commentary that said that they tried all their trick plays in the first 3 minutes, and when they didn't work, they had nowhere to go.
Yeah,
I didn't see much of the game, so
I
don't know.
I did, and I don't know what to make of it. It's funny because when the Warriors traded out, so they got hit really heavily last week by Manly.
Yep.
And then the change that they made was in their halves. And I'm sure that everyone was scratching their head going, well, you can't blame a halfback when you get lapped by 30 points.
No.
And the young fella that came in was sensational.
Tavita Harris. Chanel Tavita Harris?
Yeah.
Harris Tavita.
He's the one that did that. What was that? There was that fancy kick off the back of his foot.
Okay.
They called it something, cannonball or something like that.
Yeah. Either way, he was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah. He's talented.
So what happens in 2 weeks' time when they lose again? Do they drop him? Can't do much for a young bloke's confidence.
No. And look, they've got to stick with the halves.
Yep.
They don't have too many other choices, so they might as well stick with the halves they got and say it's yours for the season. Just go for it. Let they've got a lot of experience in that team still, and they should then be able to drive those young halves around. They're not going to win all their games. They might even win half their games, but give them the experience. That little kid is so Benchy Marshall-like.
Yeah, he was very live wire, wasn't he?
I mean, let him have the run of it for the 12 months. They're not going to make the semis anyway. You can already tell that.
And your question? I tell you who was really good in the Warriors team, Blake Green.
Yeah.
He directed a lot of that show.
He's a quality player.
Yeah. I know. And you kept saying he was doing nothing at Manly, but
he didn't. But that's okay.
He was doing a lot.
Yeah. Your question was, are the Titans going to win any games?
Yep.
Nope.
Well, it doesn't look
Not
like
for a little while. I don't know what to do about that.
I'd hate to be Garth Brennan.
Oh, yeah.
That was so disheartening.
And realistically, if you have a look at their team, it's not that bad.
No,
and they've got some really strong backs, some good forwards, and players that would slot into most other teams.
So where are the issues? I mean, we all thought that Ash Taylor coming back was going to make a difference. really.
He might need a couple of weeks to get back in.
Like
I said, I didn't see the game. I watched the highlights, and all you see is the tries, pretty much.
But they're forwards. Jared Wallace, handy player.
Jai Arrow.
Now, Ryan James, Kevin Proctor, Jai Arrow. They're not, Shannon Boyd, they're not bad players. No. So, I don't know. They've got no go forward, no halves.
They're not... The challenge with them is they're not scoring points. And I know that comes from having good halves and so forth, but they just can't seem to score tries this year.
I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Honestly, the count of tries for the Titans will be well down compared to everybody else.
Sure.
Anyway.
All right, let's move on to Panthers. This was a really good game. I know you're going to say it was bad, but it was exciting.
Over the last 3 minutes.
Penrith Panthers beat Tigers 9-8, and honestly, the better team lost on the day.
Well, the Tigers didn't nail it, and they couldn't ice the game. And it came, and the only thing people will remember is Nathan Cleary kicking a sideline conversion with the hooter going off, and then kicking a field goal. But it was I don't know how much Penrith take out of that game. Honestly,
it was interesting. I read a report today where someone was saying that the NRL need to use a bit of common sense. That if the hooter's going or about to go, hold it up until the guy makes the kick.
Sure.
But let me reverse that, and this is the Tigers taking the kick at Penrith Stadium. Do you think they'd really hold it up?
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Look,
it has to be fair for all. So.
I was going to say, just on that, it'll be remembered for Nathan Cleary's kicks. In saying that, we had a conversation on the weekend about because the halves keep coming up for New South Wales. Who are we going to have in the halves? And one thing that I said, and I'll stand by it, is that I know Nathan Cleary isn't playing great football, but he has ice in his veins. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were going to pick a player who is not going to let you down, I think you want him there.
What happens if you don't get to the point where he's required and he's ordinary the rest of the game?
Well, let's hope that that's the way that it goes and we still win.
Yeah.
We don't require
honestly, him. That couple of minutes performance didn't convince me about him.
I still think his defence is solid enough that he keeps him in games.
And you know what? I think they'll stick with him anyway.
Well, the question is, if he was on the market and we needed a half, I wouldn't be buying him at the moment.
Really?
No, because I don't. Well, no, I wouldn't buy him paying the money he's wants for potential.
Because Uncle Nick will just put him in reserve grade, and you can just bring him up when Cooper Cronk's injured. Yeah. Don't worry, you got heaps of money at the Roosters.
There's another mill. Yeah.
Everybody gets a mill.
Moving on. So what are the Tigers? They had 3 goes at icing the game and couldn't get the ball.
But you know what? The Tigers had the same problem last year. They can only seem to score so many points in a game, and then it stops.
Yeah.
And I know last year they focused on their defence, but I don't know what it is with them. They just can't seem to score too many points to win a game.
3 games this weekend were decided in Golden Point, and on all those 3 occasions, very reliable goal kickers couldn't convert.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in the game in the end. The teams that lost actually were the ones that missed the conversions.
Well, I think part of the Tigers' problems is that they've got too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Okay. I think Robbie Farah, Luke Brooks, I think they're still both fighting for control over who gets the ball and where it goes.
Yeah, I don't think Luke is assertive enough. And Farah's an old head, and he's well known for hogging the ball.
Maybe, but I tell you what, Josh Reynolds was in that game, and he
played
was
well.
superb.
Yeah.
He would be the man of the match, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what their answer is either. Yeah. Wait till they play the Titans, and we'll see who can have a scoreless draw.
Or a 1-0 Golden Point. All right. Do we really have to talk about the next one?
We do.
Of course we do.
At Blotto Land.
Oh, see, now he gets derogatory because
I like how Steve actually sent me a text message during the week. If you're not going to Brookvale, are you coming over to my place to watch the game? He only gets derogatory while he's here.
No, I can be derogatory anytime. It's okay, don't worry about it.
We all sat and watched that game together.
Oh, didn't we? Oh, what a great game.
Manly Sea Eagles 13 beat South Sydney 12. South did everything they could to lose this game.
Yep.
We missed conversions in front. We missed field goals at the post. We dropped the ball with the line wide open. We dropped the ball and let Manly score with the line wide open.
Yep.
Honestly, anything that could have gone wrong in that game went wrong.
And for Manly,
Manly was superb.
I'll tell you, that try saver that Marty had.
I wanted to bring that
was
up.
huge.
That is probably the best tackle, one-on-one tackle I've seen all year.
Oh my goodness. I can't recall the name of the player who he stopped.
Cameron Murray.
Cameron Murray, who
is not a bad player.
he's above average, and just to hold him up vertical to the try line and pull him back. Oh my goodness!
Well, I know you're not going to like this, but Tedesco made a great tackle on Katoni Staggs the other night.
Yes.
Yeah. He ran 40 metres past
over.
about 6 people, and he made a great tackle too. So
Tom's still thinking about the Roosters.
Of course I am.
But this one was.
It was a great tackle. There's no doubt about that.
This was, he was over the line.
That was a game clincher.
He was going to score.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I thought fantastic. Great display by the
Manly
Eagles.
weren't great in attack. They dropped just as much ball as South. They were clumsy, but I tell you what, their defence was superb.
Jake Trbojevic's tackle on Campbell Graham, that was probably the turning point.
That hurt him too.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, South should have been smart enough to dive on that ball.
Yeah.
They all stood around looking at it, and then Manly pick it up and run over the line.
It was just bizarre. Look, Manly less time in possession, terrible completion rate, behind in every stat, and they just hung on. That was, you know what? That was the kind of performance that I expect from my team.
That's a Fortress Brookvale performance. Yes,
it is a Fortress
Brookvale performance.
Yeah. No, I was actually really happy with that. And if we'd come away on the wrong end of that field goal, I would have felt a little bit gypped, but I would have been thinking, season going where we need it to go. Because last year we wouldn't have won that game.
Well, I feel extremely gypped.
Why?
Because they were that bad.
But in the end, you probably didn't deserve to win.
Don't worry, you hurt Tom. You took him out of the game.
The Panthers and they still won.
Yeah, but I don't think that's right either.
Anyway.
So did you see the press conference?
Yeah, and I agree with what Wayne Bennett said.
Which was?
We deserved what we got.
Yeah. He said that's been coming for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And it has. I mean, we beat the Roosters in a good game.
Yep.
We then beat St George.
In the second half.
Second half. Last week against the Titans, we almost blew it. This was coming, and look, no team is going to win every single game.
Yeah.
So we're going to have losses. We're all going to have losses throughout the year.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens next in terms of what the attitude of the players is, and because you've got who next week? Dogs.
Warriors.
Oh, Warriors. Okay. And that would be a game you'd expect to win.
Well, so was the one on Saturday, by the way.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Come on.
And Tom's out for 2 months?
At least.
Right?
At least.
And that was devastating.
Yeah.
Actually, I've watched that replay a couple of times where he pulls up. I'm so glad George just didn't
hit him.
You can see the look on George's face saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I thought, would have been a really bad look if he just came and crunched him and then.
Well, It did look bad, and at least George had the common sense to go. He's hurt.
This is wrong. We better stop.
Yeah.
Let's go to ANZ Stadium where the Parramatta Eels beat the Cronulla Sharks.
Cowboys and Raiders.
Oh, Cowboys and Raiders. Well, yeah. Okay, 1300 Miles Stadium where the Raiders blew away the Cowboys 30-12.
Yep. Cowboys are in serious trouble.
You know what? We talk about how bad Souths were on the weekend, but we know that's a one-off. The Cowboys, excuse me, but the Cowboys are now doing this.
Look, the Rabbitohs weren't as bad as the Cowboys went by comparison. I mean,
I don't even think the Titans were as bad as the Cowboys. I do not know how they held on at times.
Okay, let's. It can't be Jonathan Thurston because he's gone, and they got the wooden spoon last year anyway.
Let's talk about the Ben Barber debacle, and losing him has put a huge hole in their preparation.
You think so?
Well, that's what the commentators are saying.
And
but he never actually. But I'm not sure that he wasn't part of the team. He might have trained with them for a few weeks, but that's all.
Yeah, but look, they've got Jordan Cahu playing fullback, and I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think Jordan Cahu's in the same class as Ben Barber.
No, he's not.
Certainly
but
not.
Cahu was playing fullback at the Broncos.
No, he wasn't.
Not when he left.
When he left, he was in reserve grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be more.
Jason Tamalolo out. They rely on him way too much.
Yeah. And Morgan isn't reaching the heights that he had.
Yeah, but Morgan didn't fire last year either. So.
Yeah, but I mean that was to do with Thurston, I think.
Oh no! Well, hang on. Thurston was gone for most of last year,
and Morgan was injured for half the season.
Look, I don't know.
So
there's something's not right.
So, and look, the Raiders are hanging on. They're not losing games. The last couple of weeks, they're finding a way to hang on to their leads.
The Raiders are doing a bit more than just hanging on.
Oh, for sure.
Well, they're sitting in third at the moment.
Yep.
And
they're looking good.
They're looking very good. I've got to tell you.
Lucky for Ricky.
So what's different? I mean, they've got Bateman. They lost Boyd. They lost Paulo. They got Bateman. They got Sutton. So what's so different about their team? I just think
they're all firing. They're all of them. I mean, Lalua is playing really well at the moment. He's playing. Rapana's back. He's playing out of his skin. I think they're just all playing well.
I think it's a little bit more than that. I think that they went from a really big team that tried to steamroll everyone.
Yep.
So Shannon Boyd and the big bloke who went to Parramatta, Paulo. They were easily the biggest team in the comp.
Yeah, without doubt.
And they had Vaughan before that.
Just massive. And so their tactic was, we'll beat them up the middle.
Yeah.
But then as soon as those big boys got tired, you'd be run around.
Away, yeah.
And so there was nothing to their game. This year they're playing it everywhere. And that young fullback, that Sharnese Klostad,
Nickel Klostad.
Yeah, that's
him.
Thank
you.
He's
superb, isn't he?
He's really, really good.
He turned up in New Zealand for a few games and then he disappeared and I'm thinking, where's this guy gone? He's got so much talent.
Yep. But even then, Kotrick, Croker, Luluai, Rapida. I mean, it's a pretty flash back line.
Yep.
It is.
And so, you take that out with a bunch of mobile forwards and they're just covering ground. There's no fade.
Did anyone pick Raiders in their top 8?
Ooh,
I don't think so.
I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the first show.
I probably thought they'd be about 10th or 11th, I think. Because I expected them to fade again like usual.
Yeah. But yeah, wow.
But you've heard with all these Englishmen, they're talking about taking some home games to Britain.
Oh, look, good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, they're playing well.
Well, I mean, when they play South, it'll be sort of like a British Lions.
It will be, yeah.
Kind of. They've only got one ex-Manly player in the team, so...
Again,
well, that's probably why they're going so well.
Again, he quotes the irrelevant.
Well, it just gives me a little bit of, sadness.
You realise we're going to invite him on the show for the comic relief.
Bring it on, loser.
Hey, you're out of the club. Don't forget. Right? Overstayed your welcome.
Okay, I won't. Yeah, I'll leave that till later.
Till later?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Later position.
Oh dear. ANZ Stadium, where Parramatta Eels beat Cronulla Sharks 24-12. Parramatta are looking impressive.
No.
Sharks had a lot of injuries. Sharks had a lot of injuries.
You just say that because you're in denial.
No. Seriously, look. You know what? I'm not in denial. Parramatta have beat who?
Well, they've beaten Cronulla.
Yeah, with Cronulla with half their team out.
They scored 18 against the Roosters.
And lost.
Yeah,
we scored 18 against the Roosters in the second half.
And
they beat the Dogs.
Yeah, when the Dogs were running dead last without a win and they hadn't made their changes.
They beat Penrith.
Who've fluked a 1-point win on the weekend. Until they beat one of the top sides at strength, I'm not going to rate them.
Well, hang on, but they've beaten the top side in the Sharks. And
yes, hang on. Whoa. No. Hang on, the Sharks had half their team missing.
They didn't have half their team missing, they had 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, who are those 2 or 3,
Moylan,
Steve?
Gallen, Johnson, other teams, players that end in N.
Yeah, but so's everybody else.
No.
Everybody's got players injured.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the excuse you're going to use for Manly because South had Inglis out?
No, because Manly had Sully out.
A few of our other players? You're comparing Sully with Inglis.
Well, you're comparing Dylan Brown with Sean Townsend. No,
I'm not.
Chad. No, what's his name? Who's the halfback?
Chad Townsend.
So it's good to know we actually know what we're talking about.
Oh, I mean,
this is the fastest.
I meant Johnson.
Yeah, but what about Moses?
What about him?
He was superb.
One good game in a year does not make it.
No, he's actually had a really good start to the season, honestly.
Gutherson was superb.
This is the fastest game I saw all weekend. I thought the speed of the play of the ball was exceptional. And I've got to say, the Sharks, for all their injuries, were in this game up to their necks for a long time. And they just show they're gritty, that they're in your face. They're just brawlers, aren't they? You know?
Yep.
But yeah, the Eels were good. Michael Jennings gets 2 tries, and that doesn't happen much these days.
Yep.
And that guy, Micah Seaver,
the winner,
the Fijian.
Yeah, he just looks like a semi clone.
Yeah,
he really does.
Yeah.
So he's got some real potential.
Yeah, he seems to be lacking a bit of, I don't know,
polish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean he played half a dozen games or something, but you just see those inklings of Semi Radradra that it's like the Manu Vadavai, the beast on the wing who can just pile over people and get over the line. So
Ryan, were you going to say something?
No. I still don't rate him.
Okay.
Brad Arthur actually smiled in a press conference.
Well, you've got to admit he hasn't had a lot to smile about. Anything is going to be good for him.
That's right. That's right.
Even John Manor was... John Manor? Tim Manor.
Yeah, he's having a really good start to the season.
Yeah. There was a couple of runs where he was very impressive.
Yep.
Thank you for saying that. Janelle will be very impressed.
Oh, I can tell you. Look, I don't think they're a terrible team. I'm just not convinced until they beat someone.
No.
And they lost Nathan Brown in the first week. That was a huge blow. So.
Oh, I forgot about Nathan Brown. All right, that's one injury.
And that's a huge blow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to what was almost going to be the shock of the round.
Yes.
The Melbourne Storm just got up over the Canterbury Bulldogs 18-16.
And they were lucky.
Wow.
Then again, in the second half, they scored 18 unanswered points. I mean, it was 12-0 to the Dogs, which was a huge surprise. And then the Storm sort of kicked into gear. But I always felt Melbourne were going to come back. They were never going to be beaten 12-0. So I'm trying to work out what was different about the Dogs in the last 2 weeks compared to their first 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, I think it's got a lot about... Let me answer this.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So
blue and white shirt.
Oh yeah, how repulsive. They're not playing to any particular structure. They play both sides of the field.
Yep.
Ockenbar's come in and the goal kicker, Reece Martin.
Yep.
They're just run over the top of your type players.
Yep.
They're actually got players now who are taking the ball up and running hard. There's not a lot of lateral movement. I think they've just kind of like, I don't know, released the shackles more than anything else. They're probably playing as the most unstructured team at the moment. And I must admit, I didn't think they'd get as close as they did. And they were one kick from Golden Point.
I've got to take this from the commentators because I don't read it as well as they do. But they said that Dean Pay's done his homework down that left edge, Melbourne's right edge, where apparently Croft and Curtis Scott disconnect in defensive line.
Yep.
And they worked on that all day, and that's where they scored their points. So that's
but there was
tribute to Dean Pay.
In saying that, and that was probably the worst game that Cameron Smith I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
Tackles that he'd make 99 out of 100 times. Ockenbar just ran over the top of him, and it was like, oh, hang on a second, don't worry, Cameron Smith's got it. Hang on a second, he hasn't got it.
Well, let's just hope he's realised he's old.
Look, it was just the enthusiasm. Honestly, they were enthusiastic, the Dogs.
And the last kick, the Dogs kick for after the try.
Yep.
He missed it. Shanked it. I mean, honestly, he's such a good goal kicker. You would have thought he got a lot closer.
Oh, interesting.
But apparently, the NRL had admitted that he took it from the wrong spot. He was supposed to take it 3 or 4 metres infield.
Right.
But the refs all stood close to the sideline, and that's where he believed he had to take it.
Right.
But the try was actually scored in, so it would have actually opened the goalpost a little bit more for it. No, he still might have shanked it. And
he was a long way off.
And just so you know, interestingly, so if you were to think about Bulldogs goal kickers, you're talking Daryl Halligan.
Yep.
Hazem El Masri. Who else? Either way, Reece Martin's got a better kicking percentage after 30 kicks at goal than either of those two by significant margin, which is a bit scary because those two are up there.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So Cameron's got 3 points to break the record.
And everyone thought he was going to get that record against.
I thought they were going to score 50, so he had plenty of opportunity to kick goals.
Right. Didn't you say 60 or something last week?
No. I said you can actually get a market on the Storm beating them by 50.
Oh dear. Anyway, well, look, well done to the Dogs.
Dogs will take a lot of heart out of that performance.
Yep.
You know, you go to Melbourne. Apparently, they've got a really good win record in Melbourne against Melbourne. Of course, I think the last 4 times they've been down there, they've won, which is surprising. So, yeah.
Okay, let's go on to Sunday night, McDonald Jones Stadium, another golden point, where St George 13 beat Knights 12.
And I didn't enjoy this game much at all. I thought it was.
You did afterwards,
of course, but honestly, I just thought it was as some people say, a bludger of a game because it just didn't reach any heights. You know, neither team sort of got the ascendancy. The Dragons should have iced that game 20 minutes out. Yeah. And they just couldn't.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I agree. One of the tries they did was just a strip anyway. There's been a lot of strips these last couple of weeks.
I mean, after the first
I'm in two minds.
Over it, to be honest.
No, I'm in two minds because you've got to have ball security. But so in my mind, if it's 1-on-1, you lose the ball, then so be it. But all those times then when they're in a tackle and there's more than one player, I think the refs have really got to err on the side of, the attacking team because there's so many strips.
I don't know. I sort of think, you got Tyson Frizzell on one side, and I can't remember who lost the ball, but he wasn't as big or as strong as Tyson Frizzell.
No, who is?
So he's going to win most of those.
He took it off Pearce.
He took it off Pearce, that's right.
Yeah.
After the first 10 or so minutes, whenever they scored their first 2 tries, I thought, I've got the wrong tip here because Callum Ponga was on fire.
Yeah.
The first cutout pass he threw was just fantastic.
My goodness.
Yeah,
and
superb.
What about the second where he did that skip in midair and turn sideways and flick the ball?
Yeah. And I thought that was...
he's scary good, man. He's scary good.
They seemed to go into their shell or something happened. I don't know what happened. Dragons found their mojo. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
So Corey Norman,
2 weeks in a row.
2 out of 2.
You could almost
he's earned his money.
You could almost point to the spot. Different fields, admittedly. You could almost point to the exact same spot that he kicked that ball from. I think 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you're right. I don't think the game reached any great heights.
No,
but that's okay.
The Knights.
A win's a win. If you win, you win. Barry, if you win, you win. So take it.
Yeah.
The Knights.
What about them?
Well, I think we all thought that the Knights were going to do a lot better than what they are. And they seem... I don't think it was as bad a game as you guys were making out.
You can be wrong.
Once or twice a year, that's it. But I still think the Knights are a work in progress.
Yeah.
They're lacking something, and I'm not sure.
Nathan Brown looked clueless in their press conference. He wasn't offering up anything. He wasn't saying, "Oh, well, we're work in progress" or whatever. He looked like I could read into it that he looked like a worried man.
Yeah, but in saying that,
I've got this great squad, and it's not happening.
Yeah, and his contract is performance based.
Correct.
See, the problem is if you have a look at that Newcastle team that played, they're all players that have been cut, rejected, passed over by other clubs.
Really?
No, Clemmer.
Clemmer, yeah.
Mitchell Pearce, you wouldn't really say he's been passed over.
Not Mitchell Pearce.
Still at
Hang on. All right, Kalen Ponga they pinched from North Queensland.
Well, okay.
Admittedly, that was a good steal.
Yeah.
Edric Lee.
I thought he was. No, he's alright.
He's playing better than he was at the Sharks.
Heimel Hunt.
No, he's been overlooking.
Jesse Ramian they pinched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good pinch. Sean Kenny down.
Yeah, no, he was in the back end.
Yeah, Mason Lino couldn't even get a run at the Warriors or the Tigers.
Yeah, but they were never going to stand down Sean Johnson.
Kurt Mann.
You have a look at that team, and all I'm saying is that there's a lot of players there who have gone for a second chance at Newcastle.
Yeah,
true.
And Newcastle, 5'8's their issue.
Yeah.
Why did they let Jack Cogger go to the Dogs?
And Brock Lamb.
Like, Cogger was just about the best player for the Dogs.
Yeah.
He was exceptional in the broken field. So what's going on?
Well, Brock Lamb absolutely killed it for the North Sydney Bears on the weekend.
He was good. He was good last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does George go from here? You think, because you're saying that you don't think they're playing all that well.
No,
they
they're
win
not.
2 games on a field goal.
Yep.
They were certainly the better team on the night and probably deserved to win, but there wasn't a lot in it, I think.
Right.
I see more potential in the Dragons at the moment than I see in the Knights.
All right, Tom, give us a ladder.
Okay.
Yoo-hoo!
All
Yes,
right.
give us the ladder.
Here we go. So, undefeated. The only undefeated team, the Melbourne Storm in first position. The Roosters rocketing up to second position. The Raiders are in third, and the Rabbitohs round off the top 4. The Eels in 5th. The West Tigers still hanging on to 6th position. The Sharks have dropped to 7th. And the Seagulls remain in 8th position. Despite... that's because they won, didn't they? Yep. Just outside of the 8, the Warriors in 9th. The Dragons in 10th. Panthers 11th. Knights in 12th. Broncos 13th. It's a bit of a surprise. Bulldogs in 14th. The Cowboys 15th. And unfortunately, the Titans still winless.
Okay.
I got my bottom 3 right.
All right, so let's... question without notice, gentlemen.
I don't like these.
Yeah, of course.
Should Boyd from Brisbane
Ooh.
and Inglis from South
Retire. I heard this today. I think that's a big call to make such a big statement now. I think Inglis is going to struggle. I think Boyd's is up here. Inglis, I think his body's broken. I think I feel very sad for Greg Inglis. And the coach has said, you're not going on the park if you have to needle yourself.
Yeah.
And he's looking out
and
for his
that's
welfare.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't think you can sit on the sidelines, NRL from the sidelines, and suggest that out-and-out champion players who
I'm not suggesting, by the way. I'm just conversation
who have played many more games than we're ever going to play.
Yeah,
represented their state and country. I don't think it's a commentator's call to say it's time to go.
Yeah. No, I certainly agree. I mean, who am I to say such a thing? But
you did.
Well, what I'm saying is that Greg Inglis looks like he's busted, and he's got to decide whether he goes out with a whimper or whether he goes out based on what he's done in the past. That's the question,
look, you're a long time retired, but it was interesting that just to throw another name in there, Paul Gallen.
Yeah.
I heard him on a rival show. But there's a few of them.
Yeah.
And he was actually saying it was really good. He really enjoyed pre-season and he knew he was going to have a good year. And then they started the full contact and he went, I don't want to be hit anymore. And I just think, you're at that point, you kind of go, yeah, that's it. I know that I've had enough.
Well, most players have always said they know when their time's done.
Yeah.
They know when it's over. Now, in Inglis's case, he hasn't said that. It's his body that's letting him down right now.
Yep.
And I guess that's why a lot of people are talking about
He's had a lot of mental health
himself
issues.
back up?
He's had a lot of mental health issues.
There's a lot of players that have had to go early because bits of them were broken. I mean, one of my favourites, Nick Kosef, just couldn't get over bad knees. Yeah. Otherwise he could have been one of the best back rowers of all time, but he just kept breaking.
I mean, I'd be devastated for Inglis to retire.
Yep.
I hate seeing him hobbling around.
Sure.
Anyway. Yeah.
And it doesn't do his legacy any good. I think, and it would be a sad way for him to go out.
Mm.
Okay, so let's move on to round 5, gentlemen. We're on Thursday night at Suncorp Stadium.
Surprise!
Brisbane Broncos are playing the West Tigers.
It's a struck match between this game, I think.
It's a golden point match between this one.
I think I'm tempted to tip the Broncos because the West Tigers have proven they can't score any points.
Yeah.
Now, not that the Broncos did last week, but they were facing a pretty red hot team. I think the Broncos will lift. I think they have to.
Yeah.
And I reckon they'll get the job done, but it won't be much in it.
They were saying, there was an article in the paper today talking about the relationship between Michael Maguire and Anthony Seibold. They haven't spoken to each other since Seibold took over Maguire's job.
Right.
So this might be a bit of a grudge match.
Right.
But I don't know. I agree with you. I have to lean towards the Broncos. I don't think they can play as bad as they have.
And it's a home game. And I think they don't want to be humiliated again.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning the other way.
Okay.
You on Tigers?
I think I will. I have heard during the week that Madge gave the players a bit of a spray and scared the living daylights out of everyone who didn't know who he was. Didn't know that was coming.
That was the week before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that they'll be mighty fearful of another one.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, the Tigers aren't playing that badly.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I know that they've got a few point scoring deficiencies, but
no, general play they're fine.
And
especially if Reynolds plays as good as he did.
Their defence is good too.
Yeah.
And if the Broncos have got trouble scoring points, I'm on the Tigers.
Okay.
Okay.
How about on Friday night at Cbus Super Stadium where the Gold Coast Titans take on the Penrith Panthers? A home game for the Titans.
I'm tempted.
A lot of golden point games, I think, here this weekend, I reckon.
I'm tempted to go the Titans.
Yeah.
But they're just that bad, you can't.
Can the Panthers play as bad as they did last week?
Probably not.
One would hope not.
I'm not going to say I lean towards the Panthers.
Same.
I know it's a home game for the Titans, but you know I just can't see the Panthers being as poor as they were last week.
Yep.
And I'm just not sure where the Titans' points are coming from because when they do play well, they're not scoring points.
Yep. Yeah, poor Tyron.
But if they pull out a performance like they did against the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, but they got to do it for 80 minutes.
Yeah, and the Rabbitohs were off as well. Are the Panthers going to be off again? Well, they haven't been on.
Panthers are travelling worse than the Rabbitohs. So.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a line ball, that one.
Panthers.
Okay, yeah, I'm going Panthers. Friday night, 1300 Smiles Stadium, where North Queensland against the Melbourne Storm.
Put your house on it.
And unfortunately...
We don't bet. Don't put your house on it, but...
Storm.
And unfortunately, this is going to mean that the Storm are going to be 5-0.
Unless the Cowboys spring an upset.
Nobody wants to see that.
Cowboys could spring an upset.
Hang on. What do you say nobody wants? Sally wants to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, Sally, one person.
Okay, you know what? And I've picked the Storm every single week so far.
There's been good reason for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so have I, except for
we love tipping the Storm, Sally. We absolutely...
No, we don't, and you know it. I'm only picking it because I actually think they're going to win.
No, he wants to get a point in the tipping comp. That's what it is.
I think they're going to win, Sally. I think they're going to win handsomely.
Mm-hmm.
Handsomely, I say.
That's what I said. Put your house on it.
Again, don't talk about Melbourne Storm and handsome, okay?
Okay, let's go on to Saturday afternoon at the Sunshine Coast Stadium, where Souths are taking a home game and playing the Warriors.
I think the Warriors are in this. Sorry.
You are
the
cruelest person I know.
Again, it's another game.
Kick me while I'm down, why don't you?
It's another game where you think, what kind of Rabbitohs team are going to turn up?
Or the Warriors team.
Or are they just going to get
Warriors team. I'm sorry.
The Warriors get done by 40 and come out and win by 20. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Jesus, there's some hard game tips this week.
Yeah.
No, I'm on the Rabbits. Seriously. seriously, the Rabbits have to win.
Yeah,
Are you seriously going Golden Point?
They ought to be winning.
If they don't,
Golden Point might be you win.
If mind you, if it was in New Zealand,
it'd be different.
No, I think you'll see a different South team this week. I think you'll see some intent.
yeah,
I think you'll see some heart and some spirit, and I think you'll see a big scoreline against the Warriors.
He's hoping.
I know he is.
No, I'm telling you what will happen.
Match of the round coming up.
After that one at McDonald Jones Stadium, where the Newcastle Knights are playing the Manly Sea Eagles.
Well, this is the 4th out of 5 games they're going to be playing at home, and they are 1-3. So
1-4 after this.
how much do they want to win? That's the question. And how much is Tom missing going to make a difference?
And can Manly win 3 in a row?
Oh, yes, we can. And stay in the winner's circle. And in the 8.
No, you're out of the winners. You're finished.
Again, it's another one of those games where you think, can the Knights continue to be mediocre? Can the Eagles lift? Continue to lift? Or is it just the Brookvale effect?
Nah, Des is back. In Des we trust. We're right. We're right, I'm telling you. It took him a couple of games to get it sorted out.
Another line ball game for me.
Steve? Splinters over here's now picked 4 line ball games out of 5.
Well, that's right.
I know.
My tipping is going to be hopeless this week.
Good.
I'm actually going to go Knights.
See, haters gonna hate. I knew he was going to say. He hasn't picked Manly all year. Not once.
That's just not true. I've picked Manly
When?
against the Warriors.
You did not.
I'm sure I must.
I've got the tape to say that both of you knuckleheads picked the Warriors.
I
They're playing in. Why would Manly take a home game to Christchurch after that terrible tragedy that happened over there? The Warriors will definitely get up. Yeah, good on you, haters.
I'm sure I must have picked them to beat the Roosters. And without doubt, I picked them to beat the West Tigers. So I'm sorry, you can't say that.
Haters, bunch of haters.
Okay.
No, then Newcastle will win that one.
Yeah, of course you do.
Okay, Shark Park on Saturday night as well, where the Cronulla Sharks are taking on the Sydney Roosters.
Sharks, one of our bogey teams. We're playing the 2 bogey teams in a row. I think the Roosters should win this, particularly considering the injuries that they've got, but always tough at Shark Park for the Roosters. Start of our fairly difficult road trip. We've got Melbourne, got a few hard games in a row.
One game at a time, Tom. Are you going to beat the Sharks?
Yes.
If Sean Johnson plays, I'm going to pick the Sharks.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have the team list. I don't know whether he's playing.
Cooper Cronk going to be okay?
No.
Yeah, they might rest him. Might give Lachlan Lamb an opportunity. He's playing really good. So's Brock Lamb, for that matter. So, I don't know. We seem to be able to cope at the moment, so I'm confident that we'll cope either way.
You could be confident.
Yep.
Misplaced
Stevens?
I think I lean towards the Roosters right now.
Wow.
And you know that hurts.
Yes.
One who's leading our footy tipping arts too.
You got a tissue there, Brian?
Who what?
You got a tissue for Steve?
It's hurting him, I know.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what? He says he hates the Roosters and he's picked them every week except when they played South.
There's a good reason.
Yeah, but then he says, I don't hate Manly, but he hasn't picked them at all.
There's a good reason.
All right, let's move on to Netstrata Jubilee Stadium, where St George Illawarra play the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Well, 2 weeks ago you would have thought this would be a walkover, but not now. Another line ball game this one.
Yeah, and St George have lost Sims for 2 months now.
Corbin.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm on the Dragons.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm on the Dragons too, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dogs get up after what they've performed the last couple of weeks.
No.
Losing Napa's a big loss, I
Yeah.
think. But
Yeah.
look, the Dogs have got belief now.
Yeah.
You know, nearly beating the Storm. They've got belief, and I reckon they'll give the Dragons a real run for their money. Probably the Dragons again in another Corey Norman 40 metre field goal.
No, they'll win it easier than that.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the last one of the round will be GIO Stadium, where the Raiders play the Eels.
Another one. Jeez,
Yeah, I'm
you might
hoping-
be tipping this one. Don't go you joker this weekend.
Raiders.
This is the last weekend of the
Late
6 o'clock games too. Thankfully.
Which is interesting because daylight saving finished last week, so
yeah,
go figure.
Yeah, I'm on the Raiders, and this is the game where Parramatta can prove me wrong. If they can beat the Raiders in Canberra, while the Raiders are at playing the football that they're playing now, I will concede to Janelle, that Parramatta are
the real deal.
A chance. The real deal.
What if they lose by a couple, but it's a really good game?
No.
They've got to win.
They've got to win to prove that they can beat the other contenders.
Yeah, okay. I'm going the Raiders as well on that one.
Yeah, I think I'll have to.
And only because it's at home.
Yeah.
If this was at Parramatta, I'd actually go Parramatta.
Yep.
No, I'd still go the Raiders.
Yeah.
So they've beat no one of consequence.
Well, and that would conclude round 5, and I can tell you now that there are some teams that will be starting to panic if they haven't won. Titans will be panicking if they don't win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Broncos will be panicking if they don't win.
I could see myself getting 1 or 2 out of the tipping this week. That's how uncertain I am about these games, I reckon.
Yep.
Just as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I just bring up also an issue about SCG? They currently have...
It's as bad as Brookvale.
The issue is the number of codes that are playing on it.
Yes.
Melbourne Victory player injured his knee, I think it was, on the weekend. They've got AFL, they've got NRL, they've got A-League playing. I don't know whether Waratahs are still playing on there as well.
Yes, I believe
and trying to fit all those games in is, it just
can't happen.
It's just not good. The Roosters are talking about playing maybe at ANZ or at Bankwest.
Well, what I heard was they're talking about Bankwest. They should get ANZ.
Yeah, it would make more sense to go to. It's not that far. It'd be great for me to go to Bankwest because great new stadium to watch some home games and closer than going to Moore Park. But something's going to have to happen because and also it's a terrible viewing experience as we talked about. And I think that as bad as crowds are normally with Roosters supporters, they're going to be even worse for the next 3 years. That's just not good. Not good at all.
Why doesn't... I've got an idea.
Yep.
I've got an idea. Now, and Roosters fans will hate it, but, we're talking about... So I personally don't have an issue with the SCG pitch. But why doesn't somebody in the NRL with a bit of backbone say, you know what, Roosters, we want you to take your home games elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Why don't they go and play in Adelaide and in Perth and?
Well, they are playing Adelaide.
No. Hear me out. All right. Now I know that is not good for Roosters fans, but give them free entry into home games in Sydney when the Roosters play, because realistically we're talking about they don't want to play at the SCG. The NRL is spruiking itself as a national game and thinking, where are we going to expand to next? Not when are we going to, but where are we going to expand? The Roosters are a successful team. They're winning. It'll give them the advantage of getting their brand everywhere.
Good ambassador.
Which is not what I want, but theoretically they would be able to get their brand out. So why don't we do that? Why doesn't somebody say, hey, you know what? Let's make a bold decision and take the Roosters, give them this opportunity to conquer the rest of Australia for them.
And move them to Adelaide.
No, I don't want to move them. I mean, I don't think it's a bad move for them. But
there was an article the other day, I don't know if you read it, that somebody said the logical team to move would be the Roosters because of their success.
Dude, I've said that 37 times. No one listens to me.
About the Rabbitohs too.
No one listens to
They're more of a national team than the Roosters.
No, but South have more going for than the Roosters do. The challenge I have with what you're saying is that there are members of the club, and really they have a third of what Souths do. But
you had to put that in. It's actually a half.
He likes to dig.
Yes.
By the way, you have the lowest crowd this weekend.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But you've got members who buy memberships each week. And I, as a South member, have enough trouble where Souths take a game against the Warriors to the Sunshine
Yep.
Coast that I can't see. So over the last few years,
Yep.
my games have diminished now down to I think 10
Yep.
home games that I've paid for.
Yep.
Now, if you take out the fact that as a passionate South supporter, I'm happy to give them the money because I know it helps them.
Yep.
It means my tickets are hugely expensive
Yep.
per game that I
But
get.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So then the NRL cuts a deal with.
No, but the problem is that those members who now buy membership to the Roosters get 5 games.
No. I'm saying that they get free entry to any game that the Roosters play. Full stop.
Yeah, I know, but it devalues the membership.
No, it doesn't. You know what? It actually
home
gives
ground advantage.
The only thing it takes away is the home ground. But surely a resourceful club like the Roosters will have, if they were given the opportunity to do that, they would have a section at Brookvale, a section at ANZ, just booked out for those members of the club. I see it as a win-win.
Yeah. Look, it's a nice idea, it's practical.
And it's for 2 years. That's it.
3.
2 after this. I don't think you can change it mid-season.
Yeah. Apparently, we're taking 4 games to Bankwest next year anyway. Home games.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's half the games.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that
I'm okay with taking him around Sydney. I'm taking him out of Sydney.
I'm just saying it's worth a shot.
We're taking one to Adelaide, and that's been for the last 3 years. But you always take
one to Adelaide.
Yeah. It's just worth a shot. I think it's just worth the opportunity to do something. To do something different while this issue exists.
Probably a good conversation starter for the Facebook site. If you have an idea about teams and the ground usage
and what to do with the SCG,
particularly the Roosters in the SCG, which is really a tough.
I like that we're talking about the SCG being terrible.
It is,
and really,
I've said it all.
And the only complaints are not because of the surface being bad in itself. It's just the fact that it's got 4 codes playing. No, it's got 4 codes playing on the field.
I don't know. The soccer players are up in arms.
There are injuries waiting to happen.
No.
That's the problem.
All right, we've gone on far too long. I'd usually offer you a chance to say something, but you both have a chance to say something. So
get well soon, Tom.
Tom,
I love you, Tom.
Tom.
Love you, Tom.
Yeah,
come back soon.
He watches, does he?
Leading line breaker this year with 1.5 games. We miss you, Tom.
He watches. All right, thank you all for joining us. This is NRL from the Sidelines with Tom, Brian and Steve, and we'll do it all again next week. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
See ya.